this painting, Rex Roman, how did you get the idea for that?
Well, that was a part of my series, my four-seater series, where I made these fantasy covers of magazines, publications, and so I just came up with the title Rex, as in a title of a magazine that has its interest for old wrecks, car wrecks, in this case.
Yeah, and why does it say, like, what's it say? Lady Bird Johnson, the old Lincoln Highway, Pumpkin Butte, and what's that? Stark's Weather Stand.
Yeah, that's sort of somewhat it's inspired by the way that magazines have headlines on their covers of the articles that they feature, but these are subjects that are inspired by Wyoming, by the trip in Wyoming, where I got all this material, and in fact, even the Rex sign is inspired by old crackled logo of in a car graveyard in Wyoming on that road trip we did in 2010.
Right.
So Lady Bird Johnson was LBJ's wife when he was president. She was responsible for shutting down the old Lincoln Highway, or rendering it a wreck in a way. It's like making it abandoned. And so the old Lincoln Highway is one of the most scenic old routes there in Wyoming.
Can you drive it still?
Yeah.
Huh. And I know where it starts or ends or whatever, because you pass it right after Rock River.
Right.
But where does it go?
It goes out to Medicine Bow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It used to be a much more trafficked route, but now it's kind of made. It's what's made those ghost towns, really.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But why do you say Pumpkin Butte? What does that have to do with Rex?
Well, that was just sort of. I just like the name Pumpkin Butte, and you
cool.
can imagine maybe that wreck is found at Pumpkin Butte. It's just the evocative nature of the name Pumpkin Butte, the color that's shown isn't the Pumpkin Butte. It's named Pumpkin Butte. I just call it that. It's in the background.
Yeah, because I remember when we drove when we were on our road trip, we were aiming to see Pumpkin Butte because we thought it would stand out so much, but it didn't really. We saw it, but it was kind of way off in the distance, and it wasn't very, very remarkable compared to what we thought. Like the Red Buttes were much more standoutish.
Just how names are those names that announce landmarks in Wyoming or on road trips in general. They have such colorful names.
But is pumpkin sort of trying to signify the color?
Maybe, yeah.
That it's supposed to be orangey?
I would think so.
Yeah. And then Starkweather's Stand. That I don't know what is.
That's where... So he was one of the first crazy killers, like natural-born killers. Went on a rampage back in the 50s and started from Minnesota or someplace. And he eventually, he went on a bloody mayhem tour with his girlfriend and in the car, and they finally caught him out there near Douglas, near that Ayers Rock or that Ayers Monument. That's where they caught him. That's where his rampage ended, and that's where that wreck. That's from.
Right, because I remember
Ayers Monument. that's where they caught him.
Right.
That's where his rampage ended, and that's where that wreck is from.
Right. Because I remember where we saw the wreck.
Yeah.
It was way down in the field,
Yeah.
and you walked closer to take good photos and stuff.
Yes.
So he had sort of a stand there then, or he held
the
police off or whatever.
They captured him there, I think. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, it's all just, it's somewhat just fantasy headlines that are true or not.
Mm.
But they are things that just run around in my head when I paint these things.
Mm. Well, anyway, it's one of my favorite paintings that isn't mine.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it a lot.
Mm.
It gives it character, the way the oil, I guess you call it oil wash from the letters and stuff. They're dripping down.
Oh,
It's
right,
wrecked also.
Yes, it's just like a rust.
Right.
Spots that are.
Yeah, I really, truly love this painting. Great. Thank you, sweetie.
Sure.